So about 2 years ago, I made this tutorial called how to make unlimited GeoLayers map styles for free. It used this website called MapBoX, and clearly it was of use to a lot of people, because it went on to be one of my most viewed videos. But then MapBoX had to go and ruin it all by updating the layout of their website. Thanks, MapBoX. But the good thing is it gives me an excuse to make an updated version. Now before we dive in, I'm super excited to announce that I've compiled some of my favourite MapBoX styles that you can import into your MapBoX account with just a few clicks. These are some of my favourite styles that I've been using on my own projects across years of animation, so I'm super excited to be sharing them with you. I have some more information on how you can pick those up at the end of the tutorial. If you're looking to access some of MapBox's old map styles, then fortunately they've created this legacy area of the website here and also listed them out on this blog post, so I'll link to that down in the description. But there's been some really good UI improvements on this new version, so that's what I'm going to be running through today. The first tutorial I made on this, I made this deserty style of map here. So for the sake of consistency, I'm going to be recreating that today. But of course you can have a play and come up with whatever palette of colours you want. Now if you haven't got an account already, you will need to go ahead and make one. In order to create an account, this will involve adding in some payment information. With a free tier, however, using it for the kind of GeoLayers usage that we're using, you're very, very unlikely to exceed that limit and be charged. For context, on the free tier, you're allowed about 200,000 tile requests a month, and in a year of very heavy usage when I was running another YouTube channel, I used about 15,000 a year. Right, now we're all set up with our MapBoX account. We're going to come over to this area called Style Editor, and we're going to hit New Style. And then we're going to come down here to Start from Scratch. Customize. Now originally you're going to have a globe, so we're going to need to change this to the Mercator projection. So you just come over here, globe, scroll down, Mercator, and then back to layers. Now to add in some features, we're going to come over to the plus, we're going to go components, and then we're going to go land and water. And then under land and water, just because how I like to style it, we're going to shy away land use and national parks. Now under land, we're going to delete away one of these stops just so that there's one colour that it always represents at the same zoom level. Now if you click at any point on the map, this is going to pop up. Now this basically tells you what layers exist at that point. So we're going to click on land there and we're going to change the colour of the land. Now I'm going to use this HSL value from my previous map in order to get that deserty colour in. So this is 43, 52, 80. There we go. Now with the land cover that we have here, as it stands you can basically control all aspects of the land colour with one colour like that. But I want a bit more granular control. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in several different aspects of this so I can change the colour of different parts separately. So under land cover we're going to do style data with conditions. We're going to come to class and then we're going to select one of these like that. Click out, and then we're going to keep repeating that to add in all of those different aspects. Now to keep this in keeping with the map I made in my other tutorial, I'm going to be changing all of these individually to what I'll put up on the screen as these HSL values. Also just to let you know, the non-percentage decimal point figure at the end of some of these, that's opacity. So I'm just going to go through and add these in now. Now you see we have the water here, but you can see that it's all just one colour. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in bathymetry, which is basically depth data, so that you get different colours depending on the depth of the water. So we're going to come up to the water in here, we're going to do part of component land and water, and we're going to turn on the bathymetry. Now for the water colour, I'm going to give it this percentage here, so it's going to be 205, 43, and 78. Now you see that it's filled in the water here, that colour, but all this is still dark. That's because it's the bathymetry, so I'm going to go and alter that now. So we're going to come up to water depth. Now I'm going to delete out that stop here, again, so that when we zoom in, it always remains the same colour, it doesn't change. Now you see we've got these three different colours for different water depths. So I'm just going to pop up on the screen the numbers that I'm going to use to match it to that other desert style map, and I'm going to go through and add these in now. Now personally, I quite like it when the map shows some border data. So I'm going to come up to add in new layers. We're going to go custom layer, countries, country boundaries. Going to go fill, and we're going to turn it into line. Opacity we're going to set to about 0.4. Going to delete out all these stops and just sort of give this a faint grey colour. And then width, I think this looks good at about 0.5. So if I come out, now you see we have some nice country borders here. And then lastly, there's still something missing from the map, which is some terrain data to show the elevation. So we're going to come over to plus again, we're going to go custom layer, and we're going to come down to MapBoX terrain and select terrain DEMV1. Just going to click off it there. Click onto it there, and then we can change the intensity. I'm going to take this down to about 0.4, and then you can just, if you zoom in, you'll see it there. You can just play around with the coloration in order to bring out this to the intensity that you want it. So I think that's about good. Now there's one last thing. I'm not going to be exporting my map with this personally, but it's an option you might want to explore because you can get some cool effects. Come over to plus, custom layer, and then you can select some satellite data. Now, back over here, you can change the opacity of the satellite data, and you can also put it at different points in the stack of layers in order to achieve some quite different effects. So you might want to have a bit of a play around with what you can do with that, but I'm not going to have that, so I'm just going to delete that out now. And then lastly, this is the moment that we bring it over into GeoLayers. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to come up to the top right and hit publish, publish, okay. We're going to come share, third party. From the drop down we're going to pick Carto. We're going to copy this link, and then we're going to hop over into GeoLayers. We're going to start up a new project. Next, and then under the map styles here, we're going to hit plus. And then within this area here, we're going to paste in that URL. And we're going to set the max zoom to 23, apply, create, and there we go. There is our map style to do what we want within GeoLayers. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, if you want to export this out of MapBox in order to share with another MapBox account, is what you do is you come up to share here, you simply scroll down and you click that, download zip. Now, I've actually compiled a document of 10 of my favourite map styles, which I use in my own projects all the time. So I'll put a link to my shop down in the description, but I'll quickly show you how to go about importing those now. The process of getting these set up is super simple. We're just going to come back over to our main page. We're going to hit new style and then upload. We're going to bring up File Explorer and we're just going to drag in that style document. In it goes there, customize, zoom out, and there you are, a fully created map style straight off the bat. Any questions about those, please do just pop them down in the comments, and thanks for watching.